Chapter 11, 38 was a game changer, a pivotal moment that began peeling back the layers of the ancient world's secrets. Its ending struck hard, revealing a mysterious mural discovered by Frankie, etched into the trunk of the legendary Adam Tree. But this wasn't just some random drawing, it was packed with symbolism and hidden meaning. At the center stood the unmistakable figure of Yggdrasil's bridge, pulsing like the very heart of the battlegrounds where colossal wars once raged across the three realms throughout history. This imagery ties directly into what we know about Elbaf, the land of war. And it echoes what Loki said in his very first appearance, hinting that the Adam Tree itself represents the Kingdom of War. That statement alone cracks open a deeper understanding of Elbaf's role in the ancient conflicts. But it gets darker. When Loki mentioned the underworld where the sun died, it wasn't just poetic. That could very well be a tragic nod to the place where the sun god Nika fell, tying legend to reality in a mind-blowing way. Zooming in on the mural's details, there's a massive serpent breathing fire, not just a decorative flourish, but a symbol loaded with meaning. This serpent has the exact same markings as the giant who resembles Loki, suggesting something insane. Loki might not just be a royal figure of the present, he could be connected to an ancient weapon from the old world. And just like Shirahoshi turned out to be Poseidon, the strongest possibility here is that Loki represents the Flame Serpent, one of the legendary weapons or entities that shaped the ancient era's battles. All of this transforms the mural into a silent witness of forgotten history, an ancient manuscript carved in bark inviting us to rethink the old wars, the lost gods, and the very powers that govern the One Piece world. And if we shift our gaze slightly lower on that mysterious mural carved into the trunk of the Adam Tree, we're met with a scene that deepens the enigma and adds a chilling new layer to the story. A massive elephant one that looks identical to Zunesha in every detail. But the real shock isn't just the presence of the elephant, it's who's riding it. Upon closer inspection, the figure atop the elephant bears an eerie resemblance to none other than Imu-sama, and that opens the door to a terrifying possibility, that during the ancient era, Imu may have controlled Zunesha and perhaps even other sacred beings who were originally meant to fight with Joy Boy, not against him. This could explain the overwhelming guilt felt by characters like Zunesha, and even by the ancient robot Emeth, who recently made a dramatic appearance. Both showed signs of silent sorrow and remorse, like they failed Joy Boy in a crucial moment of that great war, having lost control and become weapons in the hands of the enemy. And now history seems to be repeating itself right here on Elbaf. We're witnessing a modern echo of that same ancient war. Imu is once again turning powerful beings this time, the giants of Elbaf into demonic puppets. It's like watching the past play out all over again, but this time with clearer eyes. Even the old texts support this theory. In the ancient manuscript Robin read from Harley's book, it says, "And the god of earth, who is Imu, grew furious, and with the Flame Serpent, he plunged the world into darkness." This line doesn't pull punches. It confirms that the destruction of the old world wasn't random. It was caused by a devastating alliance. Imu and a terrifying entity known as the Flame Serpent. And based on everything we've seen, the strongest candidate for that role is Loki. This theory gains even more weight when you recall Loki once cryptically said, "I am the one who will destroy the world." It didn't seem literal at the time, but now, it sounds like he was speaking of his destiny as the Flame Serpent himself. But unlike the past, there's hope this time. Luffy isn't like those who came before. In both spirit and will, he's something entirely different. He doesn't unite people through domination or control, he inspires them. He connects with others on a deeply human level, and that's what makes him truly dangerous to Imu. While Imu turns allies into enemies through fear, Luffy gathers even former enemies through trust. That's the power of true freedom, and this time the war won't end in betrayal, it'll end with the triumph of free will over a darkness that once seemed eternal. And from the leaks in chapter 1153, one chilling detail stands out. Loki was born with something truly terrifying. Eyes that look disturbingly like those of a serpent. Sharp, cold, almost inhuman. This revelation pretty much confirms what many fans have been speculating for a while now. Loki isn't just influenced by a devil fruit, he might actually be the living embodiment of an ancient force. The Flame Serpent itself, a mythical entity mentioned in old manuscripts and tied directly to the cataclysmic destruction of past eras. But here's where things get really interesting. There's growing evidence that Loki might not follow the same path he did in the past. Back then, he stood by Imu's side. He was a weapon of chaos, an agent of ruin. But now, with everything that's changed in his character, we might be looking at a redemption arc of historic proportions. There's a real chance that this time, Loki could turn against Imu and ally with Luffy. If that happens, history won't just repeat, it'll evolve. Imagine it, the very embodiment of a destructive past joining forces with the symbol of freedom and hope. Loki and Luffy standing together against Imu. That would be the most earth-shaking alliance the world has ever seen. A battle that doesn't just rewrite history, but redeems it. A final war that breaks the centuries-long cycle of defeat and gives birth to a new dawn.